Thank you very much, Chairperson. I'd like to congratulate you, Minister, on your new role as a Minister, and hope to work close with you going forward. Closure of banks and lack of access to traditional banking services, Minister, in remote areas has left many people without proper access to banking services. In fact, rural banking services in Ireland have been completely hollowed out since the financial crash. In many cases, only for credit unions, many rural residents would have no access to a banking account at all. Skull Bank closed. Bantry Bank closed, Dunmanway Bank closed in my own constituency. The closure of all these branches in rural areas is devastating for a town or village. In some cases, it's the ruination of a town or village. The need for reforms in the credit union sector has been long awaited, and the government has been slow to react to calls for these reforms, but we welcome this long overdue progress. In rural areas, we are delighted to have our credit unions. The credit union in Bantry have even bought the old bank that was closed in recent times, the Bank of Ireland, which is great for the town. The personal touch from the staff and management in the credit union is something we used to have in the banks, but we are lucky in rural Ireland to have it with the credit unions. Look what happened last summer with the banks trying to go cashless. Only for myself and Deputy Matty McGrath and Deputy Denny Healy and the people of Ireland kicking up blue murder, we would have had cashless banks in the name of God. Who came up with the notion of cashless banks? A bit like a pub with no pints. Pure nonsense. Myself and my colleagues have a motion next Wednesday here in the Dáil on this so-called cashless society, and we hope every TD inside in this House will back our motion. Broadly speaking, a credit union is a volunteer-run, member-owned organisation where people save and lend to each other at affordable rates of interest. They typically have a not-for-profit status and a strong community-based ethos. A common bond based on factors like living or working within a particular area determines who can join each credit union. All members have an equal input into the running of their credit union, regardless of the level of savings they hold. This form of cooperative financial organisations has a unique features that distinguish them from banks, and I would like to acknowledge the credit unions and partners to Irish communities and individuals and thank them for their values that prioritise people over profits and focus on benefiting members rather than shareholders. And I think it's about 9-10 credit unions we have in West Cork and Skull, Castle Dunbear, Bantry, Skibbereen, Clonakilty, Dunmanway, Bandon and Kinsale. And I can certainly tell you, Minister, each and every one of those managers are working very, very hard with their community. And I know it for a fact because we have Deputy Denny Healy and myself have hundreds and hundreds, maybe thousands of people sent to Northern Ireland for reimbursable operations. Quite a lot of people. I can't even advise them go to the bank to get the 10,000 out for a loan to get their operation. But I can certainly tell them go to the credit union, and none of them come back. They're delighted with the way they were treated. They get a bridging loan for a short period of time. They go to Northern Ireland. The HIP might cost 10, 12, 13, 14,000. They pay up front, and the credit union gives them the loan to pay up front. They get their money back in 6-8 weeks, and they give it back to the credit union. That's an incredible service. And the credit union make very little money out of that service, but they're still willing to work with the local community, and they're an outstanding organisation or a banking service as such that could actually compete with loans and mortgages, but are being continuously denied that. And why? It's the bigger bank is wagging the tail and stopping the government from allowing this to happen. So, while each and every TD comes in here praising him, it's much good if the government are going to make a move and allow them to compete in a market that they can compete in, and they haven't been allowed. So I'd also like to thank credit unions in helping communities affected by bank closures and reduced services during the pandemic. And I would urge you, Minister, to allow the credit unions open up their businesses to take on mortgages, take on the bigger loans, which are well capable of doing so. Thank you, Minister.